No Game, No Life, Volume 7, Chapter 2, Part 3. Whodunnit, Overthinking. On the east edge of the 150-second space, just as Sherrod plotted out, there was a town. A remote rural town on the outskirts of the state of High West and Elvengard. A bit of it, at least. Not long before their arrival, the space had broken. This fraction of habitation had just barely made it onto the map. Of a small slice of avant-garde, this was an even finer sliver. But compared to Alkia, no, even their old world, this was a civilization on a completely different level. Uniquely honed style one hesitated to even call architecture. Residences and roads woven of trees blended gracefully into the forest. Flowers shaped like jellyfish floated through the air, glowing faintly and filling the place with color. A fantastical habitat had been copied by the god, but no one lived there. There were no elves. Anyone would stop to gawk at this scenery. For a game designer, this would undoubtedly represent their masterpiece. Despite the spectacle, a sound rang out that made no attempt to respect the austere atmosphere. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba! Sora finds a mysterious herb. Not again! Give me a break, you little shit! Making his own sound effects, in one smooth motion, the middle-aged man yelled and threw the peculiar herb to the ground. Who gives a shit about wonder and awe when you're starving? He asked. Scenery be damned, Sora, age 43.2, had skidded the Harley right up to the house and was rummaging through it. Brother, the elves are vegetarian. You shitting me? Then where the hell does all that nutrition for Feel's boobs come from? Even a cow doesn't get fat unless she eats fat. There's gotta be, meat, or at least some rice somewhere. Judging from the Dragon Quest VIII sound effect, he seemed to be exercising his right as a hero. That mysterious privilege of eminent domain that allowed him to shamelessly rummage through other people's houses. In this grubby man's case, he just looked like a pickpocket. Can I ask you something? What is it now? Do you want me to wash your clothes, too? The young girl, discreetly drying the clothes she'd washed, jumped at Shira's voice and laughed shrilly. Similarly, ignoring the scenery, as soon as they'd slipped into the house, Steph, aged 1.8, had run around looking for something when... Wah! She'd wailed, returning in just a towel. Shiro shuffled away from her and asked, Was it a number 2? No, a number 1. I mean, I don't know what you're... Wah! Realizing she couldn't keep up appearances, Steph fled from Shiro and sank into a bed. In seconds, she'd abandoned reality by sinking into a dream. They were, after all, exhausted. None of them had the wherewithal left to admire the scenery. Not Sora, not Steph, and of course, not Shiro either. Shiro, in fact, continued frivolously filling her little head, calculating something. A formula to weave together the reason they'd come here, the reason she'd led her brother here, and what she'd said to Steph, having excluded the girl to this point. Starting verification of situational variables necessary for proof of theory. Induction of point B, brother, to arrive at specified coordinates. Confirmed. Truth of bathtub Boolean of specified coordinates. Confirmed. Precondition of change of 3 die variables. Confirmed. Precondition of determination of transfer values. 24 at point B, 2 at point S. 0. Confirmed possible. Exclusion of random float Steph. Confirmed. Verification complete. Validity of induction function. Provable. Come, brother. Let the game begin. Announcing this to herself, Shiro moved behind Sora, wearing an evil smile just like his. Sora, keenly picking up on the dangerous aura, turned to see. Huh? What? Wait! Shiro, that's dangerous! Standing on a large pile of stools, Shiro extended her hand to reach a high shelf. As she wobbled as if about to fall any second, Sora hurriedly grabbed her, howling. Ah! The hell are you doing, making a 2-year-old work hard while you pretend to be a DQ hero, you dumb Sora? Approximately 43? That's why you're over 40 and still a goddamn virgin! Until now, Sora had controlled the distribution of dice with perfect precision. This late in the game, though, he realized fatigue had overtaken him, and he'd forgotten about it, prompting an apology. My bad, Shiro. I should have realized earlier. Shiro, held aloft by her brother with her face downcast, smiled thinly. Her brother, looking up at the shelf she'd been reaching for, was wondering. How many dice should I give back to her? That's what he would think. That's what he'd have to think. Even if he returned 8 to bring her tally to 10, and hence her original age, she still wouldn't be able to reach that high. Her brother, with his superior situational awareness, would grasp her intent, that she wanted to help with scouting and supply. And his conclusion would be, the more hands, the better. Alright. I'll keep 10. My 18-year-old body does the trick, so, Shiro, I'll give you the other 14, okay? Yes, this was what he had to do. Shiro nodded once and lowered her head apologetically, but only to hide the grin escaping her lips, indicating that everything was going according to plan. The dice were their collective age, divided into equal parts. Each time they gained or lost one from the default value of 10, they gained or lost a 10th of their age. Thus, when Shiro, who now held 2 dice, took the 14 dice Sora offered, she'd have 16. Shiro took the long-anticipated dice and sneered. Bye-bye, lolly physique. Bye-bye, prepubescence. The next moment, Shiro's body was wreathed in light, her limbs rapidly developing and lengthening. Shiro imagined how tiny Steph, now sleeping peacefully, had looked originally. That little bitch Steph, with her jugs of fortune and bouncy, boinky, schmeckshy body. But now, Shiro smiled scornfully to herself. Sorry to put one over on you, but This is my game. I'll be going on ahead, Steph. Farewell, stunted brat Shiro. Welcome, schmexy bitch Shiro. With this body, the first equation will be complete. All I have to do is seduce brother, and then... Huh? The one mumbling confusedly was the one holding 10 dice, now age 18, Sora. Brother, what's... The bewildered Shiro looked up at her brother as if to ask, is it my imagination? It felt as though her eyes were still taking in the view from the same height she was accustomed to, but that must have been her imagination. Right? Tilting her head and smiling, Shiro slipped her hand across her chest. Whoop, 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 whoop. Brother, I'm flat as a board. I'm literally almost flat as a board. Feeling nothing but air where her chest should have been, the glint in Shiro's eyes disappeared. She could now only laugh at her calculations as she was overwhelmed by a crumbling sensation that eroded the ground under her feet. Calm down, Shiro. It's fine. You have developed. This was the biggest shock since the start of the game. No, of her life. As Shiro's already pale face burned down to the color of ash, her brother scrambled to reply tactfully. It's, you know... Yeah, it's like not necessarily the case that everyone gains years uniformly when they game dice, right? Her brother, up until just now a scruffy middle-aged man, tried lying. No, formulating a gentle hypothesis, but... I know. That's not it. Shiro grimaced at herself more deeply. It was true, as her brother claimed, that she had developed. Her limbs were slightly longer, and the baby fat on her stomach had shrunk a tad. Allow me to digress for a bit. Did you know that Japanese elementary schools don't hold students back even if they're chronically truant? Although Shiro hadn't attended even a single day of school, on paper, she was still in the 5th grade. But let us consider the fact that she regarded herself as underdeveloped even for a 5th grader. Now let us venture an interpretation as to what was now being described as development. Multiplying her age by 1.6 had finally brought her to the physical equivalent of a 5th grader. If they lined up the entire grade by height, she'd be at the head of the class. Yeah. Shiro, cheer up. This just proves you're already a total babe. Whatever. Brother, I'm tired. Wait. Hey, Shiro, don't give me that thumbs up. Don't die giving me that nice smile. Hey! Wish, whoosh, wish, whoosh. As she felt her whole soul turning to sand and blowing away, Shiro cursed her brother's voice, audible from afar, cursed all that had betrayed her, everything. She'd been sold out. By the future, by the world. She'd never have them. The bouncy, boinky, schmecksy body, those jugs of fortune. She gave up completely and collapsed to the floor. Whoa! What is it now? Suddenly, as if to salvage her fading consciousness, something hit her like a bolt. Shiro braced herself against the data tsunami that surged through her brain by stumping her foot through the floor. They say people's lives flash before their eyes when they confront death. It's a phenomenon in which your brain surpasses its limits, becomes abnormally active, searching through your memories and knowledge in an effort to find a way out of a crisis. So they say. We'll set aside the question of whether her despair was sufficient to actually kill Shiro. She surrendered to the sensation of her brain circuits frying and wildly combed through the data. I can feel it. There's something there that will correct the broken equation. A flash of light. List. All the games, comics, videos, and other media her brother had played, read, or watched in the 8 years she'd known him. 23,671 mainstream games, 1,852 porn games, 85,743 graphic novels and porno doujinshi, 2,465 anime, 4,867 dramas and live-action films and television. Sort. Her brother's favorite characters among his 871 waifu. In her mind, she aligned every single entry, including video, images, and audio, and appended the data. Strategy guides, fan books, manuals, articles, in particular, the characters' official ages, heights, and measurements, among many others. Logically, methodically, she quantified, aggregated, graphed, and analyzed. Miss Shiro? What are you... Little did he know that Shiro's brain, probably one of the highest performing in all humankind, was now being taxed beyond its limits for perhaps the most meaningless reason ever. Frightened, Sora tried to rouse her as she stared ghoulishly at the floor, but in a few unresponsive seconds, when she was oblivious to external stimuli, Shiro summed everything up. Calculate. She numerically sorted Sora's, her brother's, tastes, preferences, and fetishes. Yes, numbers didn't lie. Her brother's likes were as follows. Age. Accounting for non-human characters in terms of average heights, mean 12.344. Measurements. Bust, waist, hips, mean 77.2/59.873/78.23. Relationship. Younger. 61.1%. Little sister. 48.4%. Big boobs. Only 3.2%. Conclusion? I'm so glad, brother. You're a total lolicon. As though night were breaking to dawn, the world was filled with light. The future still held hope. Shiro fell to her knees and looked skyward. My little sister, I'm completely in the dark as to what's going on. But did you just casually unleash a devastating insult on your big brother? Her brother, mathematically and statistically confirmed a deviant, groaned with half-closed eyes. An insult? Please, it was a saving grace. Shiro wiped away her tears and stood so Sora wouldn't notice her true reaction. Now she knew. No matter how old she got, she would always have a lolly body. It wasn't clear whether this meant in real life or just this game, but bye-bye, jugs of fortune. However, it's fine. Yes, it's fine. Shiro clenched her fist, pretending not to notice her bleeding heart, and howled. Now that I know my brother's a lolicon, everything is fine. If brother doesn't like them, if he doesn't care about boobs, then who needs boobs anyway? Having reached this grand conclusion, Shiro acted calm and amended her calculations. The first equation had fallen apart cataclysmically, but brother, I'm tired. I'm gonna take a bath. Okay. Stay strong, alright? Your brother loves you no matter how you look. Yes, that's exactly what brother would say. Before her dream, before her future of a smexy body shattered, that would have been his precise response. But for that very reason, the second equation, and the proof of the formula still awaited.